Hi mathletes, this video is going to be about multiplying and dividing numbers by powers of 10. This video is just examples, and you can watch my other video on powers of 10 for a lesson. I'm using the worksheet online that's from mathscore.com. So for this whole lesson, I'm going to be doing the examples on the left-hand side. I think they all might be called number 1. So you can do the examples on the right-hand side if you'd like more practice, and then at the end I'll show all of the answers to all of the examples. So starting with 1a over here, we see that it's 4 times 1,000. Right now, there's a hidden decimal point after the 4. 4 is really the same as 4.0, so you can pretend that the decimal is right there, right after the 4. Since there's 3 zeros in the 1,000, I need to move this decimal point 3 spaces to the right. You see that I can move it 1 space to the right and it'll be after this 0, 2 spaces to the right and it'll be after this 0, and 3 spaces to the right and it'll be after this 0. So my final answer looks like this. It's 4,000. You can stick a comma in there if you'd like. Whenever I have to move a decimal over and there's no actual numbers there, you just fill in a 0. Same thing here. So right now, it looks like that, just 4, then a decimal, then a bunch of zeros. I need to move this decimal over 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces to the right. So it's starting there, 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces to the right. So the decimal is actually going to be at the end of this. So this is my answer, and it is 40,000. This last one here, it's 4 times 100,000. So I have the same thing as before. I probably have a bunch of zeros in there. I need to move the decimal to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 spaces. So here's where my decimal is starting. 1 is right here. 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the end of my decimal. My decimal is going to be here. I'm going to delete that extra 0 that I put in, and I get 400,000. The reason that we're moving the decimal to the right is because when we multiply something by 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000, these numbers are getting bigger. Moving the decimal to the right makes a bigger number. This next set of problems is exactly the same, except the powers of 10 are represented differently. Actually, this makes it easier for us because instead of counting up the number of zeros, we only have to look at the exponent. So for this one, 28, here's my decimal. I just need to move the decimal over 1 spot. So I get 280. 1 is the exponent here. For this one, I need to move the decimal 2 spots over because 2 is the exponent. So for this one, it is 2,800. Here it's going to be 28, 1 spot, 2 spots, 3 spots over, 28,000. Now we're working with decimals, but the rules are exactly the same. So I'm still going to move the decimal over 2 spaces to the right. So 2 spaces to the right, which means my decimal is going to land right between the second 8 and the 6. So it's going to look like this. So it's 988 and 67 hundredths or 670 thousandths. Those are the same thing. Going to get rid of that extra 0. Here I'm moving the decimal 3 spots over. 1, 2, 3. It's going to be between the 6 and the 7. So I get something like this. So 9,886 and 7/10. Finally here I have 4 spots over. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be right between the 7 and the 0. Like I mentioned before, you can do the examples along the other side, and I'll show all the answers at the end. So this is the same thing. Move the decimal over 2 spaces. So it's going to be 1, 2. So 881 and 6/10. Move this one over 3 spaces, move this one over 4 spaces. When we're dividing, we have to go the other direction. So when we multiply, we move the decimal to the right. When we divide, we're going to move the decimal to the left. This makes sense because multiplying makes a bigger number and dividing makes a smaller number. That's at least true if you have numbers that are greater than 1. And obviously in this case we do. So we have our 4 zeros in our 10,000, which means we're going to move the decimal to the left 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to fall right between this 8 and the 6. So 8, 9, 8. Put our decimal in. So 898 and 61,218, and let's see what the place value is. Tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000, hundred thousandths. This is the hundred thousandths. Here we're moving the decimal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right after that 9, so 89. And the rest of it I'm going to type in. Then that's our answer here. This one is the same thing. You move it over 6 spaces to the left. Alright, so these examples are just more of the same. So I'm just going to keep going here. More of the same, and all of these answers will be at the end. Let's try this one right now. So we got this decimal, we're doing times 1,000, so we're moving it over 6 spaces to the right. Or, excuse me, I said times 1,000, but I meant times 1,000,000. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to be right between that 3 and the 8. Alright, so you can throw in a comma if you'd like, or you can leave it like this. But it's 560,483 and 8/10. We got a division problem over here. So it says divided by 10 to the third. So that means I need to go to the left 3 spaces. So 1, 2, 3. So that's going to fall right there after the 76. And there's my answer there. Last 2 problems I'll leave for you to try, and then I'll show the answers. Alright, so I'm done with the examples that I'm giving. I'm just going to scroll through the answers now. You could pause it as I go if you want to read some of the explanations or see some of the answers, but I'm done with what I'm teaching, so the rest of the video is just going to be answers. So here's number 1 with an explanation. Pause the video if that's something you want to read more. Here's number 2 with an explanation. The next one. Alright, if there's anything that you missed, feel free to rewind the video and pause it at the spot you need to see. Thank you for watching, and you can watch the other Power of 10 video if you'd like more instruction on this.